whatever you'd like to talk about now.
Recording in progress.
We're getting now to the point where things start to get much more complicated. We've talked a bit about my introductions to Akron and the sorts of things I was trying to do through the health department. We haven't talked much about the medical school. So while I was new at the health department and learning about it, I was also new at the medical school. The medical school at that point was quite early in its development. Its building was just beginning to be constructed. So when I was hired, I was given an office in an office building in Kent, where the medical school administrators had rented office space while their facility was being constructed.
When you retired?
When I retired, is that what I said?
Yeah.
No. Well, is that what I said?
I think so.
No. Well, while I was new in both places. And I was one of the first faculty hired, not the first, maybe the second or third. And I was hired at a time when the medical school had admitted its first class. Remember, the medical school, while it didn't have its own facility, was a 6-year BS MD program, meaning students were admitted out of high school into one of the 3 partner universities, Akron, Kent State, or Youngstown, where they would have a 2-year accelerated undergraduate course, and then in year 3 would undergo a separate admissions process to make sure that they were performing well enough academically to then officially enter medical school. And the planning, the building construction, was an expectation that the building would be ready for the first class of students in their 3rd year. So when I arrived in 1976, the first class had been admitted the summer of 1975, roughly a third of it at each of the universities. And one of the first things I was asked to do by Dr. Robert Liebelt and Dr. Stan Olson, the 2 people who were in charge of the medical school, was to develop the first medical school course to be given over the summer between the first so-called college year and the second college year, labeled C1 and C2, followed then by M, medical school 1, 2, 3, 4, and graduation. So since I came in January of 76, I had until the summer to put a course together that would bring the students from these 3 colleges together. As it turned out, only 2 of them at that point agreed to take part in this course. It was just Kent State and University of Akron that agreed. Youngstown did its own thing for a while. So I developed a course that was to run for 6 weeks during the summer of 1976. And I identified, I think it was 6 different community issues, community health issues. Things like family planning and substance abuse and so on, high blood pressure, etc. I don't remember what all of them were, but one of them I remember was health maintenance, maintaining health. And so brought the students together. I created a syllabus that actually, when I printed it out, was about that thick. And because it contained a basic outline of the problem and then information supporting the reason that was a problem for the students to read. So it was an outline of the course plus the reading material they would need. And the expectation was that the students would divide into groups, each one taking one of the problems, would work on it themselves in the community by interviewing people in different community agency settings that were dealing with those problems, and that they would then come back, and their chore for the class was to develop what they thought would be the best response the community could develop to try to deal with that particular health issue.
Okay, we're going to reset